Welcome back to Real Estate 101. Today we're going to continue our discussion on home insurance and talk a little bit about tenants insurance. And I'm pleased to be joined once again by Joni Thompson of Addo and Associates. Joni, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Joe. Nice to be back.
All right, Joni, so I want to start today's show and I want to ask you, what is the number one reason someone would need tenants insurance?
Number one reason in my mind is for personal liability. You want to make sure you're covered for that. In the long run, it could cost you a fortune.
Okay, so what would someone be liable for if they don't own the land or the building?
When you rent or you are an apartment, condo, homeowner, any part of that, you are responsible for any damage or harm done to a person on the property.
So Joni, some people, they think they're extra careful. They think to themselves, why do they even need insurance?
Well, let's face it, accidents happen. That's the whole premise of insurance for car, home, tenants, anything. Accidents.
Okay, do you have any examples of some accidents that happen when tenants are renting from a landlord?
Certainly, you leave your bathtub running, your toaster's plugged in and it has a faulty wiring, anything like that, you are held liable for.
All right, Joni, so what if it's a small claim and it's less than someone's deductible? Is there anything for that?
There certainly is. There's voluntary property and voluntary medical payments, and that's exactly for that. Someone trips over an extension cord you left out in your home, a friend of yours, and they trip and chip their tooth on the coffee table. They don't want to sue you, but they would like you to pay for that. You can voluntarily pay that without a deductible under your policy.
All right, so let's say you have a property you don't think is worth insuring. Why not just get liability insurance?
Because you'd be surprised, Joe, once you start adding up what you really do have, your furniture, you might just have small furniture, but then you have your appliances, your linens, your towels.
Jewelry?
Jewelry, any odds that you have that you should have covered. At the end, you probably have $20,000 without even blinking. Yeah. So an overall tenants package is always the best way to go. You get everything combined.
Okay, so let's say somebody had a flood or a fire and they have to live somewhere else while the repairs and the cleanup is going on. Is there coverage for that?
Yes, there is. It's called additional living expenses. I had a flood in my condo, and it works the same with tenants package. I had to go live at a hotel where they replaced the entire floor. It took 3 weeks. The hotel was covered, and also any additional expenses. If it costs you more to eat, more to get to work, all of that is covered under additional living expenses. It adds up. Okay,
Joni, so let's talk a little bit about landlords. Why should a landlord insist on tenants getting their own insurance?
Well, for one thing, Joe, if it's a huge building, they usually have a huge deductible, about $25,000. So anything under that, they would be paying out of pocket. It would come out of your board money, such as that. So it's harder to get. And your personal property, which a lot of people think are covered, or that additional living expenses if something happened to the unit, are not covered under the landlord. So they want to make sure they have a happy tenant and that they have a happy place to come back to. And the best way to do that is make sure both sides are insured properly.
Okay, so for someone who gets a tenant's policy, is there a deductible on that?
There is always a deductible. Usually the lowest is around $500. Now the higher you take on a deductible, the lower your premium because you become more of a co-insurer. So make sure you watch for that, make sure it's something you can afford.
Okay, Joni, so what about the premiums? How expensive is it?
They are not expensive at all, Joe. Most people, they think they are very expensive, but they're not. They can range anywhere from $130 to as expensive as you want it to be, depending on your age, where you're living. All of that comes into play, but less than $20 a month, you can have tenants package. And if you have your auto with somebody, you get a big discount on your auto. Sometimes your tenants package is free.
All right, Joni, so any last tips for viewers that may need tenants insurance?
Yes, make sure you get it. Like I say, less than $20 a month. Start putting it aside. It's well worth it for peace of mind. And make sure you call Addo.
All right, Joni, great stuff. Thanks for coming on today's show, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again next month.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. It's been a pleasure as usual.
So there you have it. If you need tenants insurance, get in contact with Addo and Associates. I'm your host, Joe Tercera. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.